Hey guys, what's up? It's Gigi here. So, today I'm going to be doing part 2 of my very first video. And please remember, if you haven't checked that out already, it's on my first YouTube channel that I had that I forgot the password to. So, subscribe to this one, but go check that one out. I'll link it in the down bar below. Basically, my first story started out telling the very first time that I ever moved out on my own and my very first ever shitty roommate situation. And it also goes into kind of a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit of like the kind of mental anguishes that I was having at that time. Um, Basically, what was going on was the roommates were not the only situation that was trying my mental health. My ex, Rob, at the time was definitely a piece of work, and he did nothing to help my mental stability. I was literally doing everything for us. Absolutely everything. It was all up to me. And I was doing all that while also being blocked off from my family, basically. I wasn't blocked off as in, like, I literally could not talk to them. I was blocked off in a way that my ex made me feel shameful for going over there, for wanting to be around my family. He would make it seem like it was a bad thing or like I was gonna do something. But basically, I am from Las Vegas. My entire family and all of that is from out west, like various places out west besides my dad. My dad is from Kentucky. Um, he is the type of man that follows money. He has always gone and moved wherever he could make the most money. And in Indiana, he does like tow truck driving and sometimes a little bit of construction. But in Vegas, it was mainly construction and things like that because you get paid for more for that out there than you do here. And so I have been used to moving to Vegas and Indiana like every 2 years of my life, pretty much. It was definitely a normalized thing. And so I, as I said before, I was going through a lot of mental things. Um, Stresses with schoolwork that was going on, stresses with my ex, stresses with my roommates, stresses with my parents, stresses with some of my friends, a lot of my friends actually, and it was just a lot, and it was definitely more than I could handle at that current moment. And so I was hanging out with my friend and her boyfriend, and I had been hanging out with them for quite a few hours, and it was probably around midnight when I looked down and I was like, you know what? I got money in my bank account right now. I got about $400 in my bank account right now, and it's only like 109 to get to Vegas. Bet. Bet. And so I literally had them drive me to the bus station. I waited at the bus station for like an hour, maybe two. Got on a bus at like 4 o'clock in the morning and then left. Texted my ex at 4 o'clock in the morning, hey, I'm on my way to Vegas. Sorry. Bye. And I didn't text my friends, didn't text my family, didn't let anybody know. Um, I didn't post on any social medias or anything like that. I didn't even, the people that I was staying with, I did not even call them and like let them know that I was going to be staying with them. I literally just got to Vegas, showed up on my aunt's doorstep, and like knocked on the door, and I was like, hey, hey. And she just kind of looked at me and she goes, oh, okay. And then just like lets me inside or whatever. And yeah, that's the story of how I ran off to Vegas. And along with this story, it's not enough to make a full video on its own, but I'm just going to go ahead and throw this in here. While I was in Vegas, I was actually there for 3 months, and I was not supposed to be. I had no intentions of celebrating my 19th birthday there, and I did. I actually left in June and didn't come back to Indiana until like September. So I was there for a bit longer than I had intended to be, because I'd intended to be there for maybe like a month tops. And then I would come back and then I'd get my shit together, whatever. Well, while I was there, the people who I was originally going to stay with, um, one of them, they were both my mom's friends, but one of them was more her friend currently than the other one was. And she, the one that was my mom's friend, was clean off of drugs. And by drugs, I mean meth. And her boyfriend was not. He was supposed to be, and he was supposed to be trying to be. But he wasn't fooling anybody, and we all knew, that he was using. And basically, they had gotten into an altercation one night, and he had put her hands on him. And I've been in an abusive relationship before, which is a video for another time. And it just wasn't going down like that for me. Like, as soon as I saw him hit her, I was like, get the fuck off her, or I'm calling the fucking cops. Like, get the fuck off her. And so he, like, gets in my face, and he's like, oh, yeah, you're gonna call the cops? And I'm definitely not the type of person to back down. If you get in my face, I'm standing my ground, and I'm getting right back in yours, because that's just who I am. You're not gonna get in my face and try to bitch me out and think that you won, or think that you have gained something by that, because you haven't. And so I stood my ground, and I looked at him, and I said, yeah, I'm gonna call the cops if you put your hands on her again. And then he started, like, spouting off about how I needed to get my shit and get out and all that. And I looked dead at him, and I was like, no. I was like, I will leave when she tells me to leave, because she's the one who pays bills here, because she's the one who has a job, and you don't. And he looked at me, he's like, oh, really? And I was like, yep. And, like, a few minutes go by, and she basically looks at me, and she's like, Gigi, I think it would be better if you just kind of, like, left for the night, come back tomorrow, we can all, like, sort it out or whatever. And I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. So my ex and I leave, and we start walking to my aunt and my uncle's house. My titi and my tío. And basically, I had texted, I think it was her phone. Yeah, I had texted her phone, and I was like, hey, I'll be by at, like, this time tomorrow to grab all my stuff. And then, like, that'll be it. That'll be the end of the situation. And he responds and is, like, cussing me out and yelling and screaming. He's like, he responds as in, like, he texts and he's, like, cussing me out. And then he calls me like a psycho and starts, like, screaming. Like, is literally screaming at my ex and I through the phone, pretty much. But he's cussing and ranting and raving basically about how we meddled in their business, we were moochers, my mom and I were users, we didn't really care about them as friends, things like that. And I just kind of hung up the phone. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. And so I hung up the phone, and I literally found out that the next day he threw everything I had away. And by everything, I mean my birth certificate, my social security card, my fucking ID, all of my clothes that my aunt had given me since I had gotten to Vegas, all my shoes, my charger. It was a miracle that I even had the phone that I had at that point in time, or like anything that I had at that point in time. It was absolutely horrendous. And then my mom's boyfriend had to come get my ex and I in September, because he's from Vegas as well. Yeah, and he had to go out to Vegas anyway because he was buying a car for my mom, and it ended up being like absolutely perfect. So my ex and I left in September, and basically that was it. I had to get all new documents, and I had actually planned to go back. I had planned to start working and go back, but I actually started school. I started college, and I left my ex and I got with my husband. So that has not happened yet. I've not obviously made it to Vegas. As you can tell, those are not like palm trees in the background. I am still in Indiana, and my husband and I actually do plan on moving back to Vegas, which is like really exciting. It'll probably be after I have finished my associate's degree in college, because I would at least like to get that before moving to another state. Um, and basically, that's that. That was pretty much the stories of how I ran away to Vegas and got my ID and birth certificate and social security card thrown in the trash by a meth head. Make sure to like and subscribe this video if you liked it, and come back next week for new content. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram as well, and please, please, by all means, comment any video ideas that you would want to see from me, any questions that you might have for me, um, anything. I will do my best to try to respond to you. Thanks, guys. Have a great week.